First at floor, the Slender Man case that shocked the community 10 years ago is back today in a Waukesha County courtroom. A judge will now decide if 21-year-old Morgan Geyser can be released from a mental institution.
The other girl involved, Anissa Weier, is already out. Back in 2014, when they were all 12 years old, Weier and Geyser lured their friend into the woods and stabbed her nearly to death, all in an effort to please the fictional character Slender Man.
Our Waukesha County reporter Rebecca Clough at the courthouse with more on what happened today. Rebecca?
Yes, Steve and Kim, it's important to note why we're here today. Now, Morgan Geyser was sentenced to 40 years in a mental health institution. However, she is allowed to apply for a conditional release. That means it will be up to a judge to decide if she is mentally well enough to go back out into the community, and that's what the hearing is about today. Now, during the hearing, we heard from a psychologist who was first hired by the defense to testify about Morgan's mental competency. That person is now working for the state. Deborah Collins testified that she believes Geyser should be kept in a mental health institution. Collins points to a couple of instances of concern, including in 2022 when Morgan told a doctor that she was faking her psychiatric symptoms after attacking her former classmate Payton Leutner, so she wouldn't be returned to her abusive home. But Collins says there is evidence of psychiatric issues before Morgan ever got to any mental institution. She also testified that she has evaluated Morgan since she was 12 years old and doesn't believe she is faking. On top of that, she says she's concerned about comments Morgan made in therapy just before petitioning for conditional release this past year.
The session on October 24th included, quote, "How do you think I was able to repeatedly stab my best friend and face," referring to the co-defendant. "Thought she was all the brains. I was pulling her along too. I didn't care. I couldn't care. I've never known how to care." End of quote. The recency of it relative to her petition for conditional release, the reference to her co-defendant, and to herself, that was a potential red flag, at least for me.
Now, the defense argues that the doctor's own words were this could also be therapeutic. It could have been something like a breakthrough, that Morgan was able to have this in therapy, so it's not as bad as they were saying. But on top of that, the defense says Geyser has been off of her psychiatric meds since 2022 without any returns to the psychosis, such as hearing voices and the hallucinations that they have seen over the years. And on top of that, her current diagnosis is only post-traumatic stress disorder and some anxiety disorders. Ultimately, though, as we said, it's going to be up to a judge to take not only this doctor's testimony, but two other doctors' testimonies together and decide if Morgan should be released back into the community. And that would probably happen slowly over a couple of months if that was approved. But again, that decision likely not going to come until tomorrow. Reporting in Waukesha, Rebecca Clough, TMJ4 News.
And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, with that. Rebecca, thanks.
Rebecca Clough is your Waukesha County reporter. You can see her stories and all of our Waukesha County stories by scanning this QR code that you see up on your TV screen right now, or going to tmj4.com/Waukesha County.